Hey, what's up, Longhorn fans? This is Texan Overtime. My name is Jordan. I am the Daily Texan's associate sports editor.
My name's Hunter. I'm the a Daily Texan senior sports reporter.
Yeah, we're kind of big shots here
Yeah,
in the basement at the Moody College of Communication.
Yeah.
We're literally in a basement right now.
It's a scary place.
No, like, have you ever been down in the basement like super late at night, like walking down those stairs outside of the Hearst building? It's scary stuff.
It is scary, but I think it might be some time to talk about some Longhorn football. What do you think? Obviously, Texas and Alabama played. Had the 20-19 point loss for the Longhorns. Guess if we just want to kind of start in each. How was your experience just leading up to the game, because you did some college game day stuff media wise?
Oh, it was such a mess, but in the best way. So I woke up that morning at like 4:30 because I had to get myself put together because I had to start walking over to the LBJ library at like 5:45, 6 o'clock so I could pick up my credential. But like the ESPN SID Julie, she didn't even email us with our media credential information until 4 a.m. that morning. So it didn't even really seem like she knew what was going on. So I met up with Jason from TSTV. We ended up finding each other, and we wandered around LBJ, absolutely lost, trying to find our media credential pickup for like 30 minutes. But then when we got there, it was probably about like 10 minutes before they started rolling cameras and everybody started getting really loud. And the moment that college game day officially got kicked off, everybody was screaming. All of the frat bros, like, painted it all orange. We were just, like, holding up the signs and throwing up the horns up. The Alabama fans were absolutely nuts, too. And I was just all up in their faces. Like, I had my phone. I was going all the way up to them. They were all screaming in my camera. It was a crazy experience for, like, 6:30 in the morning. And then we got to go, like, behind the scenes on set, and you just casually saw freaking Pat McAfee. It's just, I was fangirling so hard. It was kind of gross though. We were all super sweaty. It was amazing that I like packed like spray deodorant, because otherwise you would not have had a fun time in the press box during that game.
Thank you for that.
You're so welcome.
Yeah, my experience was a little different. Got there in the stadium, in the press box, and I just see the swarm of fans that are let in, and it was a little reminiscent of LSU, but just people just striding through bleachers, just absolutely hyped, and 105,000 people ultimately came, and it was a good time. But what you kind of see from the Longhorns, I know we kind of talked about what we saw like defensively, it seemed like there was a vast improvement. What'd you kind of think about that?
About the defense in general, I mean, so we talked a little bit about how Sark was kind of speaking on that very first media availability before that ULM game about how he wanted to move the defense generally like closer to the line of scrimmage, especially like those safeties and defensive backs. And that was just to like give Texas's defense just bigger pass rush presence. And we kind of saw that. We saw a little bit of the remnants from Gary Patterson, who joined UT's staff as what was the title? Like the special assistant to the head coach. Yeah, you saw it though. Though it was interesting that he was on the sidelines, because I thought that he was supposed to like stay like in the press box or like somewhere else, and that he wasn't allowed to be on the sidelines, but he was there, and he definitely had this big presence on defense. I mean, you saw Jalen Ford absolutely go off. He recorded that 11-yard sack, and I think he had 10 total tackles on the day. It was a big game for our defense, especially Ford and our D-line.
Yeah, I was just overall like really impressed. It just felt like, obviously besides that one like run in the first quarter where they just absolutely just torched the entire team, it felt like they just kind of shut down Alabama for the first 3 quarters, obviously. I think there was like 186 yards or something like that first 3 quarters, which that's not, we saw Alabama torch Georgia, in the SEC championship last year, and so for Texas to kind of go out through that, ultimately, moral victories are not worth very much, but it was because it's one thing to do it against Louisiana Monroe, and because we kind of talked about it, like, oh, you saw like a million Longhorn logos flying to the ball on defense, but to see against Alabama, that was pretty impressive for 3 quarters, and they went 6 straight drives with just punting the ball. That was wild to see, honestly.
You've got to nuance it a little bit, though, because as impressive as Texas played in this game, I've never seen an uglier game from Alabama. I mean, they have never had 16 penalties in a game before. If they have, it's been a very, very, very long time. We definitely saw Saban get pretty upset throughout the game. And then there was that sound bit at the end where his players were throwing horns down, and he was like, knock that bleep off.
Yeah, because initially I was like, oh, are they just like affected by the crowd noise? But it's kind of weird because a lot of penalties just happen on defense, and like if it's a false start or something, you're like, okay, that's because of the crowd. But to jump off sides on defense, to face mask someone, block someone behind the back, they definitely gave Texas a lot of chances to win the game. So we definitely have to be can't be too overboard about Texas improvement, but it's something strange to see. I doubt we'll see Saban's team give up that many turnovers or that many penalties anytime soon.
Probably not. I'm sure that Saban ripped into them in that locker room. Gosh, you saw whenever Kool-Aid McKinstry had the 2 back-to-back PIs in the red zone. I think we only ended up... No, we didn't get a field goal out. That was the bad snap, right?
Yeah, it was... I'll ask you this question, right?
Okay.
It's a little fun question.
Okay.
Right? Would you rather be an Alabama football player in practice right now, this week, getting chewed out by Nick Saban, or a Texas A&M fan?
I'd rather be an Alabama player.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, the yell leader at what do they call it? The midnight yell.
Yeah, they're trying to silence that video. That needs to be spread.
Okay, wait. So what exactly was the video? I remember. So obviously Texas A&M has the midnight yell thing that they do.
Their tradition.
Every year. Yes, they are very proud of it. They do it before every game. And the yell leader was just slandering Appalachian State, saying they aren't a real they aren't a real state. What are they doing? They have 2 brain cells.
Yeah,
there's nothing else to do.
That 2 brain cells quote. They said, yeah, they have 2 brain cells, and yeah, he's gonna knock him out. Well.
So, context, y'all. Appalachian State is just a crazy team.
Yeah.
I mean, they're a crazy home environment to play in. You saw that last week against UNC. They just narrowly lost. I think UNC was ranked number 14 that week, too, and that's a big rivalry game. They lost final seconds due to just their kicker.
College football, yeah.
Yeah,
very
typical.
Yeah.
So what happened in that A&M game?
Well, from what I remember, just Appalachian State, they just held on to the ball for a lot, out possession them, but it's kind of. I'm sure Texas fans gave them some comfort after losing the number 1 team. I definitely saw a lot of A&M fans jumping the gun on social media before their game started. So, that's always a little bit of fun with the rivalry.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Did you see that Barstool A&M tweet where they were they're little bro, only A&M can beat Alabama with the backup quarterback.
Yeah.
Alabama can't beat us unless they injure our QB1.
Yeah. I remember being in 3rd grade feeling the same exact way. McCoy, by the way, 2009 national championship.
You see, I don't remember that game vividly. I do remember being in 3rd or 4th grade, sitting on my grandmother's rug, watching that final Texas A&M game where Justin Tucker won the game winner, and just rampaging around my grandmother's house, knowing nothing about football other than whenever you kick it through the goalpost, that's good.
Yeah, well, it'll be interesting to see what Texas can do at quarterback this week. Sarkisian was talking about, at the media availability, everyone was asking him what he was doing with the quarterback or who his possibilities, and maybe it's Charles Wright, maybe it's
not Malik Murphy apparently.
Maybe it's Roshan in the Wildcat.
In the Wildcat formation, exclusively fun. Wildcat. Okay, wait, so we didn't contextualize this very well. So during this Alabama-Texas game, first quarter, Quinn Ewers, he's a transfer from Ohio State, one of the most highly touted recruits ever. He had a perfect composite rating from 24/7 Sports as a quarterback. He was originally committed to Texas, went to Ohio State, came back here, won the starting gig in a quarterback battle with Hudson Card, and he looked phenomenal on Saturday. I mean, he was able to hit all of his receivers. He was able to make like the easy screens, the checkdowns, but also like have a couple of really flashy plays. But then he goes down with an injury. Hudson Card comes in, gets a little nicked up himself, and Hudson Card's main selling point is that he can extend like plays with his legs, and he gets an ankle injury. So the fact that Texas was able to hold on and nearly win that football game was pretty impressive.
Yeah, for a moment, I guess the entire country kind of saw what Quinn Ewers was, and I think he had like 134 yards in the first quarter, and that's I believe like the fourth most any quarterback's ever had in a quarter against Saban. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens. Sarkisian kind of listed everyone as day-to-day, whatever that means. I feel like, after Alabama weekend, I'm day-to-day right now. You know what I'm saying?
I'm a little day-to-day too.
Yeah.
That was a rough weekend, and like it was amazing and eventful and the best college football experience that I've ever had. But I am still exhausted.
Yeah. Do you have any last thoughts we want to leave off with?
Goodness gracious. The UTSA game this week should give us a little bit of a break. Texas is coming in as pretty big favorites to win that one, though. Obviously, favorites don't mean much whenever Alabama was favored like 20 points to us at home, and UTSA kind of proved last year that they're not a team to really mess around with.
Yeah, it's always interesting. UTSA, they've been in those 2 overtime games, so they are kind of experienced playing close games. So if it gets close, it might be dicey.
Okay, so I have one final question to end off with. Yes. Okay. With all the injuries that Texas has, we have Quinn Ewers probably out for 4 to 6 weeks. Hudson, he's day-to-day with that ankle injury, as is Deshaun Jameson. Who do you think needs to come up big in this next game against UTSA?
I'll probably have to say just, if the defense as a whole, continues to act the way it's been, I feel like Texas will be fine. But offensively, I feel like Bijan will be ready to go. He was one of the people listed as a day-to-day shoulder injury, but he himself said today that he's going to be fine. We've kind of yet to see we've seen flashes of Bijan moments, but we haven't seen like a Bijan stat line. So I guess if Texas is gonna survive this little stretch, it'll be about Bijan being Bijan, but also carried by Roshan and the offensive line.
Of course, yeah. I think that O-line the O-line has been doing a really good job protecting the quarterback. A huge step up from last season, even though Texas has a very, very, very young O-line. You have Kelvin Banks and Cole Hudson, both true freshmen, thrown in there. I think the only upperclassman is Christian Jones starting at right guard, and he's a 5th year. So that's something that's entertaining to watch. But I think that the O-line can probably do a better job at making lanes and holes for Bijan. I think if that happens, then this UTSA game should not only be a cakewalk for Texas, but should be a huge improvement in the running game and protecting whoever is going to be starting at quarterback.
Yeah, that would definitely be huge. And excited to share the booth with you once again Saturday. It'll be a fun night game. Those are always fun.
Okay, but am I bringing candy corn again?
You have the bag.
Okay, yeah, I have to bring the candy corn. Should I bring anything else?
A charger.
A charger?
Yeah.
I'm definitely sneaking some of those red Gatorades out of the press box again.
Yeah.
I mean, they taste like gummy bears. They're so good. The free food in the press box usually freaking slaps. If y'all ever want to report for the Daily Texan, just look forward to free food with reporting on baseball and football.
Shameless plug.
Shameless plug.
Yeah. Well, this was the Texan Overtime. I'm Hunter, and
I'm Jordan. Oh, let's drop our Twitter handles real quick. You can find me at the Jordan Kenzie, TheJordanKenzie.
You spelled it out. And you can find me at Hunter Dworaczyk. Good luck. All right. We'll see you next time.